BookTube, it's Louise, the Big Head Bookworm. Lovely to see you. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good day. First and foremost, can I say a big hello to everybody that was in Florida? I know I've got some people, some subscribers, some friends, bookish friends who live and hail from Florida and Texas and anywhere in the Caribbean. I'm thinking of you from what's going on with all the hurricanes and the weather. It does feel like Gaia is deeply unhappy at the moment and is literally shaking the world apart. And who could blame her, quite frankly? But I'm so sorry for everybody that's having to go through that and having to deal with the impact of storms, and know that my heart is with you and that I hope you're well. I really do. So anyway, so to make it a little bit jollier, to give a little bit of sunshine, which I'm experiencing at the moment here, I wanted to give a little sunshine back to you and do some nice book hauls. Yes. I've got a nice little stack of book here that I would like to show you. First of all, though, I have two little bookish goods that I have treated myself to. I'm not really an amazingly creative bookmark person. It tends to be whatever's close to hand. Occasionally, I have been known to match my bookmark to my book. But I saw these on our way back from holiday. We stopped in at a service station. And I saw these. And they are little metallic, little magnets. And they're camper vans, and the husband and I always wanted a camper van. So we now have one. Well, actually, we've got several little toy camper vans, but we wanted a real one. But no, this is probably the closest we actually are going to get. And aren't they lovely? So the husband's already chosen one. I think he's having red. And then I should imagine Benedict's going to have that colour. So yes, aren't they gorgeous? So that's what we've got that. The other one I've got is this notebook. Oh, look at this. Just because you're allowed to use magic now does not mean you have to whip your wands out for everything. Oh, I don't know. I might disagree with Mrs. Weasley there. So there we go. It's a lovely notebook. And my book notebook is running out. And so this is a Harry Potter themed notebook, and I saw it very cheaply somewhere and I thought, oh, go on. That's just too good. That's just too good. So I got that. So anyway, to the books, BookTube, to the books. The first one I got was on the recommendation of Mercedes from Mercy's Bookish Musings. I read Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates for BookTubeathon. I found it truly impactful, but I did feel a distance. And she suggested that I give The Hate Race by Maxine Beneba Clarke a go. This is about a growing up black in white middle-class Australia, and she really recommended it and has since done a video saying it's just great. So I shall be giving that a go. I'm not sure whether they're books that you read and enjoy as much as are glad that you've read and you learn from it. And it starts conversations, and that's the best thing about Between the World and Me for me. It started conversations that I could learn from other people and investigate how I actually felt. So that was really good. Peter Robinson, Sleeping in the Ground. It's the new DCI Banks, which is a crime police procedural set in Yorkshire. This is the... Let's see what number this is. Oh, I don't know. This has got to be... God, what a crikey. 18, 19 in the series. I've got 8 hardbacks over there, and I've got a lot of the paperbacks as well. Sorry, itchy nose. But yes, so that's... My mother-in-law got me this for holiday readings, and I didn't manage to read it on holiday, so I've brought it home and I shall be reading this at some point. Hag-seed by Margaret Atwood. I'm a huge Maggie Atwood fan, but I haven't read any of hers recently. This is one of the Shakespeare retellings. It's a retelling of The Tempest, and it was the one that I thought, oh, I really want to read. So yeah, so I've got this to read. So I saw it cheaply in a supermarket. So I thought I have to pick that up. Couple of romance books. I have got Julia Quinn, The Duke and I. I saw this at a list of historical romances series. It's the first in the series. It was a list of them, and quite a few of them I had already read. But I've never read any Julia Quinn, and I have seen her recommended. If you like Regency romances, I have seen them recommended. So I've got The Duke and I, which is the first in the series. Does it say what kind of series it is? No, but it's a Regency romance. And then I saw this. Well, actually, I didn't see this. I saw this second one, which has just come out by Sherry Thomas, and this is the first one. It's a study in Scarlet women, and it is the first in the Lady Sherlock series. I saw it on the Ripped Bodice Instagram. They're the romance bookshop in a dedicated romance bookshop in Los Angeles, and their social media feed is brilliant to keep an eye on if you like your romances, because you get to hear about such a variety of romances, right down to historical romances that are not too saucy, all the way to the more grown-up end. So you can get you kind of wherever your tastes lie, they will have something to cater for it. And they're very good for recommendations. So I saw this. I'd never heard of Sherry Thomas. I'd never heard of this series, and I've ordered it in. So that's the first in the Lady Sherlock series. What? I have a couple of true crime books here. I'm really into my true crime book at the moment. I've always loved them, but right at this minute, I can't get enough. Catching a Serial Killer. It's My Hunt for Murderer, Christopher Halliwell, by Stephen Fulcher, who is former detective superintendent. So this is about him catching him, I gather. I don't remember anything about this. Apparently it happened in 2011, so not that long ago, but obviously I was not aware of it at the time. But I've seen this on several bestseller lists, and again, it was cheap in a supermarket, so I thought I'd give it a go. Another true crime. I was listening to Sword and Scale. Sword and Scale, the podcast? I think so. If it is Sword and Scale, I'll write it down below. And somebody had recommended that for me as a podcast, and I found some of them a bit gruesome, and I found some of them I'm really not going to listen to because they're about children and that kind of stuff, and I'm no. But then some of the episodes are brilliant, and this was one of the episodes that I really enjoyed, and it's Dr. Martin McNeil, his beautiful wife, and an almost perfect murder. The author was on it, and the whole episode was about this case. So I thought that sounded brilliant. So I should be giving that a go. This is called One of Us, the story of a massacre and its aftermath, by this lady, who is a well-known war correspondent and wrote The Bookseller of Kabul and The Angel of Grozny. And she's written quite a lot. She's a very well-known war correspondent, so she comes with fine writing credentials. I've never read anything by her, and this is about the Norwegian massacre. So it's Anders Behring Breivik, excuse me, who in 2011 again, killed 77 of his fellow Norwegians in a terrorist atrocity. So it's about that. This is going to be a hard read, but at some point I might fancy this. I saw it in the library for 50p, and I just thought, well, at some point I may well want to see this. And if you can hear that, the dustbin men have just arrived. Hello. Good. The bin was full. I saw this on Mercedes' channel, Mercy's Bookish Musings, Riverine by Angela Palm. It is a memoir from anywhere but here, and I think it is about how you never leave your roots. So Angela Palm was from rural Indiana. She found a kindred spirit in the boy next door, and then when she goes back, she finds that he's been convicted of a murder that he has done, I gather. So it's not that kind of like, did he not do it and she helps him release. I think he has actually done it, and it's perhaps finding out how life changes you, perhaps, maybe. So yes, but she really rates this book, and the way she spoke about it, and the fact of I think it was the clear picture of the place that came out through this book. I thought I must give it a go. So that's it. Riverine. I must talk to Revival Books about their understanding of what good condition is and my understanding of good condition is. Come up with the most awful crease down the middle, but it'll be fine. Two more. I got Fear by Nhat Hanh. Essential wisdom for getting through the storm. So there was a conversation on Twitter about recommending books that are good for self-esteem, so to turn to. So you might not read them all the time, but to turn to in moments of crisis. And I think we've all got books that we do turn to, that we reread. So there may be words of wisdom or inspirational spiritual writings. I know I've got quite a few books like that, and somebody recommended this, and I gather it's about mindfulness, but it's also about how insidious fear is in our life and what fearful thoughts can do, how they change your perception of the world and colour your experience, basically. So I thought this would be quite a powerful read. It's kind of a slim book, but sometimes these slim books are so powerful. Their slightness belies their weight almost. So there we go. So I shall give that a read at some point. It's not one that I'm going to turn to immediately, but at some point I will feel the need for this, and I'm sure I'd benefit greatly from reading it. And then the last book is The Falconer by Elizabeth May. Now, this was a complete whim because I follow Elizabeth May on Twitter, and she is one feisty feminist Scottish lass who inspires me so much. She is glorious on Twitter. Her landscape photography is just glorious. But then she was saying, just to remind you all, that I am actually also an author, and she has written a series of books, and this is the first one in it, called The Falconer. Debutante, heiress, murderer. And it says, Lady Elena Cameron was destined to a life carefully planned around Edinburgh's social events, right up until a fairy murdered her mother. Well, that just sounds brilliant. So look at her with her knife and her pistol in her hand. So yes, I shall give that a go. It sounds like a right romp. And there we go, BookTube. That's it. So I hope there is something there for you, something to tickle your fancy. Not much literary fiction there, is there? Only really Hag-seed, I would say. But apart from that, a good collection, I feel. And I know there is something. I have actually already read one of those. Not going to tell you which one. Not going to tell you today which one it is. And it was very good. I really enjoyed it. Anyway, that's it, BookTube. I hope you're well. And I look forward to seeing you again sometime. Bye!